Yeah, I'm hoping there's not going to be a ton of noise here. Oh shit!
Oh,
What?
we're live here with AEW Forbidden Door. The recap review. A little in the morning because the show ended at uh, I don't know, 1 a.m.
1
1
a.m.
a.m.
Oh
Fucking
my god.
terrible.
Jesus. It wasn't. I mean, the show
The
wasn't fucking
show
terrible,
was
but my
great, but
guy,
the times.
when it ended, and I said, "So do you want to do this review now?" And you're like, "Fuck
Nope.
no."
I said that I think
Um,
probably at like 10 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, we're probably gonna do the review tomorrow.
man, that's the one thing. I'll just spoiler alert. The one con to this show
Tony Khan.
is Tony Khan. Yes, it was. Well, you never know because isn't Shad Khan his father? Maybe he was there. Maybe there were two
uh,
Khans. But it's, and I said this to you last night. There's going to be now 10 pay-per-views a year, or at least
mm,
there will be 10 in 2026 with Redemption added in. And that's coming up now. I love AEW. We talked about on our Dynamite review. Like it feels weird to say, you know what, as a pro wrestling fan, I hate pro wrestling. And it's not like I do. It's just I did watch the we watched the buy-in,
mm,
and from the beginning of the buy-in to the crowning of, and I'll just spoil it because we know if you're listening to this, you're going to get spoilers. From the crowning of Will Ospreay winning and going off the air as the winner of the Men's Owen Hart Cup. I think it went off air at 12:54, 12:55.
yeah.
The buy-in began at 7. We're talking 6 hours. Now there's going to be 2 hours on Wednesday. And in 4 weeks, we've got another pay per view. I think AEW has a very strong, what I want is a 4 hour model, 5 hour with the pre show, honestly.
Mm,
I'm fine with that. And if you're not going to take quantity of matches down, I hate to say the quality needs to be compromised, but at least just being a little more mindful that, uh, trim some of the fat off of some of these matches.
yeah.
I was listening to one of the various wrestling journalists out there, and I believe the math they had is that every match on the main card of this pay-per-view, bell to bell, we're not talking
Mm-hmm.
entrances, bell to bell ran between 17 and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like 20 for each match,
Yeah.
which is I
But,
think kind of a big problem.
yes. Yeah, yes. I mean, and at the end of the day, I want to get that out of the way because I don't want to come on here and somebody immediately think, "Oh my gosh, so they hated the pay-per-view." No, to be completely honest, you and I were at Double or Nothing, and I
Mm,
think this rivaled that. These were great, outstanding pay-per-views back to back, and
mm.
AEW continues to be in what my opinion is a really good place right now.
Yeah, with that being said, I think it's probably one of the best pay-per-views so far of the year, personally, from like the wrestling standpoint. I don't think there's any other show that had as much good wrestling. There's other shows that had like, good stories going into it. This one was able to have a little bit of story, but just killed it with the wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. It's like if you, and so that's another aspect too. I mean, even when people look at the matches they liked the most,
Mm,
sometimes you like the match that had the most story, even if the in ring, like that's a WWE thing too. I mean, that's the
yeah.
thing, WWE can give you a 3-star match, but for you, it might be closer to 5 because you were
Yeah,
so
because
invested in the buildup. And here, like, I mean, I said to you last night, which we'll jump into it, but like Shota
mm,
Umino and Pac, I thought had a really, really strong match. But how many
yes.
people are gonna look back and go, "Oh, that's a match I remember," because nobody cared about the story because there was no story.
No. Especially with like the outcome and what they did at the end of the match. You had the legend from New Japan come up there to like save him, but he just kind of walked and lumbered out there and not looking like
Waddled.
yeah, he just kind of wobbled. I'm like, how the Death Rider's scared to hurt this guy, and they're like, okay, let's leave so we don't kill this guy, or they're like scared of him. I was thinking about it
Yeah.
now. I'm like, they must like respect this guy enough to be like, okay, we're just gonna leave and not hurt this old man.
Well, we'll talk about who that old man is in a little bit, but I guess we'll you want to start the rundown?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Start the last match of the 0 hour, the buy-in or whatever they call these, the women's tag team champions. You got the Divine Dominion versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia. I don't know if I said that right, but
I believe Olympia. I thought I heard Oompa
Olympia.
Loompa on my
Oh,
end.
I call her Oompa Loompa. I call her. She doesn't have a photo here on Russell Talk, so or not Russell Talk, Smack Talks.
Do you
Smack
credit to
Down. What the
SmackDown?
hell is this website? SmackDown Hotel. Yeah, that's the name of this website.
Why is this hub site not working for me?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well.
do you care if we just how about this? At least for the
Mm,
buy-in, do we want to just let's just rip the three matches all in one?
yeah.
I don't think there's any overwhelming stories. So we
Divine
had
Dominion won. Sky Blue surprisingly lost
to Micah.
to Micah, and then Pac lost to
No, Danny Garcia.
Daniel Garcia. Oh yeah, Daniel Garcia lost to
Drilla.
Drilla.
Drilla Maloney.
I will say for the predictions, I think I got one wrong on the full card, but I got that
We
one
got
right.
two.
Two. I got two
Two.
wrong.
Two. Two.
You got one wrong.
I got one wrong. So I've
But if you
won on
count
our
this
very
one,
first.
it would have been two, so we're even. Because before this match
Right.
started, I picked Daniel Garcia losing because I don't know. He just loses a lot, like
And he
singles
did.
competition.
Yeah, it was and overall, I mean, I say for the sake of
Pretty good 0 hour, yeah.
easy, I wanted to brush by the buy-in because if you're watching this and you watched this pay-per-view, we don't need to feed you more than what you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the quick brush by on the buy-in was the Drilla Maloney Danny Garcia match. That was a last minute add-on that Tony Khan announced on social media. Fun match, and really all
Mm,
three were like even Sky Blue. She is somebody who, when given time, like she's not a bad performer in the ring. And Micah was cool to see. I thought they had a good match. Micah's now gonna, as a result of winning, be the sixth woman in the six-person survival of the fittest match on Wednesday's Dynamite to crown a new TBS champion. I don't know. Let's see if we can rattle off those names. So it's
right.
Micah, Persephone, Chris
Christopher Statlander,
Statlander,
yeah.
yep, Hikaru Shida,
Hikaru
Harley
Shida.
Cameron.
Mm.
That's five. Who am I
Oh,
missing?
this is one that's great to have notes, but I did not.
I didn't need, yeah, I didn't. Sorry, I'm bringing this up now. I'll just look it up here. I'm sure it's out there, right? Surely there's a graphic
Oh yeah,
up
it should
somewhere.
be. What's coming up next week on Dynamite? It should have all the
Oh,
people.
yeah. Should I just go to AEW's website? Look at this. I said we were going to go through this quick, and then I got this shit
30 minutes on the
on the
TBS
buy-in.
on the
All right,
buy-in
hold on.
for
Here it is. Okay.
Dynamite.
Oh, it was Queen Aminata who we missed.
Mm.
So Micah, Harley Cameron, Hikaru Shida, Persephone, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, Survival of the Fittest. That'll be a six woman elimination match on Wednesday.
Should be
So
stacked Dynamite.
should be, yeah. So Micah won, beat Sky Blue
Mm.
to qualify, and then yeah, Divine Dominion. We knew they weren't going to lose, but I'll tell you what, they gave a lot of offense to Thunder Rosa and Olympia. It was a really
Yeah.
fun match. Like they're,
For a
you
couple
know,
seconds, I thought they had a chance of winning.
yeah, I wasn't because it's forbidden doors. So you sit there and think sometimes, like, oh shit, okay, well, like these women kind of more so. I mean,
Mm.
specifically Olympia, it's more of like a CMLL representation, and you're like, oh, all right, do they want to give that brand a shock win? They did
Mm.
not. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good pre-show, and I think the wording that comes to mind is the matches that took place were hard hitting, and I thought that
Mm.
was a really great precursor into what ended up being a very uh I think strong style esque pay per view once we got to the main card, which you can go ahead and lead us into now.
I feel like speaking of strong card and hard hitting action, we got a triple threat tag team match, not a tornado tag team, so they got to tag in. So I don't know. I don't like this kind of tag team match, but like in the video game wise, I don't. It's kind of weird. I like
Yeah,
the
well,
tornado
it's
tag.
because it's still only two people in the ring at a time.
Yeah, you have
So it's
three
like
people, two teams, and it's like okay, this team gets the rest, and you just if I'm in a match like this, I'm just like, okay, just wait. Fucking
dude,
these two teams are going to kill each other, and then just tag in,
how many
then hit
tags even
finish them.
happen? How many tags even happen? Because in a Young Bucks tag team match, it's like that shit does not matter.
Mm,
Like there
probably
was
like
so
I would say
there's
probably
just
six, but I'm just throwing numbers out here.
I was gonna say seven.
6, 7.
Seven.
I don't think there were
Uh,
67 tags here, but pretty predictable outcome. No
yeah,
surprises here with the super kick party. You got the Young Bucks here going, I'm a ninja.
that was funny. Yeah,
That was
so
the highlight.
Nick, Nick Jackson, I think it was, he does like a tornillo head
Oh yeah, that's
scissors or
Nick.
whatever, and he just like super high pitched voice,
I
something
love
I'm
when
a
he does
ninja
this.
or whatever.
Either when he
I
gets hurt or he's like a power bomb. He goes, ah! He screams like a little girl. And he's like
it
one of
reminds
my
me of
best part
like
of the Young Bucks here.
when we're watching and somebody
Mm.
does a dive to the outside, and I'll always go,
Oh yeah.
"Wee!"
Especially that free fall when someone like jumps from the outside and they fall backwards and they go like
Yeah.
that was always the best when they do that.
So they beat Unbound Co., which is Shingo Takagi and Teton, along with beating El Sky Team, which was
Mm.
Mascara Dorado and Mystico, who I thought I said this in our predictions. I'm going to go
Mm.
Young Bucks. I thought there was a chance that team would have won. They were over. I mean, they were
Mm.
over big time with the crowd. And yeah, I mean, this just counts as like a party tag match, which I also said, James, on our
Mm.
predictions, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if this opened the show. And it did. And it was great.
I'm surprised. I thought it would have been the other tag team match with these old farts, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. But hey, apparently that one of the best matches of the night, and I was feel like wrong on that prediction there, with that being the worst match.
Well, the next match that you're going to talk about was my match of the night for quite a while up until we got to the
Mm.
main event.
And what was that?
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kenny by God Omega.
By God, it's Kenny Omega.
What do you
This match
think?
started. It started off pretty slow. It got me looking at my phone a little bit too much when they do the holds, and it's like it's impressive, but I'm like, I only
Yeah.
check out what's going on Twitter, or Facebook. Let me
I
get
think
some
Zack Sabre,
DoorDash here. You know,
yeah, maybe some cheeseburger that turns into a hamburger.
yeah, no cheese
Maybe
cheeseburger. Yeah,
maybe at least you got a cheesecake.
yeah, not a cheesecake milkshake like I ordered, but hey, we're not doing a DoorDash review.
Why didn't you take the slice of cheesecake and just mash it into a cup, pour some banana milk on it, and melt it?
I mean, I did that with the fruit cup that I got. I blended it up and made a little smoothie this
There you
morning.
go. That was smart of you.
So
There you
probably should have took a little bit of the cheesecake and did that. But when you buy a milkshake, you don't think I got to make it myself. You think, oh, they're gonna make it for you.
go.
We're gonna send you the
Charge me full
blender and
price.
get all the fruit and the water.
They
That's mm,
oh man. Well,
that's AEW
Zach
here. They give you the ingredients for a great show. They got Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. What are your thoughts?
yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is an acquired taste. I remember a few years ago, he had the match with Brian Danielson at Wrestle Dream, and
Mm,
people raved about this match. And for me personally, um, it just was not my cup of tea because it was
mm,
very chain wrestling almost the entire match. And with Kenny Omega, I had a feeling they would incorporate something different, and they did. To be completely
mm,
honest, like I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. kept it on the mat too much. I thought he had a good mix. These two felt like they beat the shit out of each other. I mean, with some of the moves they were doing and the chops and all that. And Kenny Omega had teased the one-winged angel from the turnbuckle, had teased it a couple times in the center of
mm.
the ring. Zack Sabre Jr. kept getting out of it. And again, they do a good job, I thought, in this match. Like you go into it thinking, well, Omega's going to win. But
Yeah.
once again, you're like, well, Zack Sabre Jr.'s from New Japan. Maybe they'll give, NJPW a win. And there were times where I feel like they suspended my disbelief
Mm.
accurately. I don't know if this will hit the Meltzer 5 stars, but it should be, I think, 4 3/4 maybe. I really liked
Potentially.
it. And Kenny Omega did eventually hit that one-winged angel. Going back real for a quick second, like with the
Mm,
Young Bucks winning, you feel like that is building them to the tag team titles
mm.
or a tag team title match. I think Kenny Omega is on the path to a world title match. We'll obviously have to wait and see, but I really enjoyed this, and I do think it is one of Kenny Omega's best matches, like since coming back from diverticulitis over a year
Oh yeah.
ago.
I definitely agree. This match kicked off. at the later half when they started fighting on the outside, and Kenny did the stomp on Zack Sabre Jr. with the announce table thing. I think that's when the
Yeah.
match started to kick off for me. Then I started being locked into it and going,
Yeah,
"Hey,
Zack
is Zack
Sabre.
Sabre Jr. gonna win? Will Kenny have to get his redemption at Redemption?"
Will he? Yeah.
I
Zack
don't.
Sabre Jr. put him in like an octopus stretch on the announce table, and then I assume they just
Yeah,
lost their footing and fell off the
yeah.
announce table.
It was a little slippery, and the table always wins.
The table. I am the table.
The table. Who likes tables? Any team that likes tables, I am the table.
We'll get into
Just
more
pack,
tables later.
just pack like tables. Is that the next
Yeah.
match?
No, what is it? Is it next Mox and Bandito?
Yeah, yeah. This card, like this person, did not put the matches in the proper order on here. Yeah, let's go with Mox and Bandito. Another
That was
good
next.
match.
Yeah. Good, not great.
Mm,
I mean, this one for me, I think maybe delivered a little less than what I had
mm,
expecting going in. I think part of that played into AEW, like they don't get tired of these fucking mask spots. They
mm,
love doing it. If you have a mask and you wrestle in AEW, a part of your match is going to be having part of your mask ripped. The thing with Bandito's mask is his is a little different, right? It's almost like a
mm.
hood. If you
Yeah.
in comparison to these other guys. And so Mox had like teased ripping it early, and then he got to ripping it after Bandito took a pile driver on the steel steps on the outside. And
Mm.
Bandito looks like he pulled his mask down to Blade because he was gushing.
Yeah, there's
And then when
blood
Mox went
everywhere.
to when Mox went to rip it again, it looked like he almost yanked the whole thing off. Like, I think
Mm,
he ripped really hard, like, he maybe thought he needed more force,
mm,
and, like, Bandito was, like, covering his face, so, like, the second half of the match, it was Bandito just constantly readjusting his mask to, like I mean, you could see his face. You could
mm,
basically see over half of his face. So I feel like that maybe compromised him a little bit. And maybe it was just a distraction. I don't know. It was a good match. There's not a bad match on this card.
mm,
Moxley retained like you and I thought. I thought maybe there was a chance that Bandito could win, but ultimately, Bandito, and I did like the ending. He was caught in that bulldog choke, was able to get himself back up to his feet,
mm.
and you can tell he's struggling, and finally you see him kind of do the cross on his chest like a hope and a prayer, and
Yeah.
he takes a step or two after praying and jumps while standing in the ring. He sort of like falls backwards to like fall on top of Moxley, hoping that this will break the hold. And Mox kept the bulldog choke in,
Mm,
and Bandito passes out. So Bandito, he passes out. He doesn't tap out. He doesn't get pinned. So he
mm.
remains like you keep him protected. And John Moxley's entertaining Continental Championship reign goes on to live to fight another day. And I say that because he will fight another day. I would not be surprised if he does a match on Dynamite. This dude never stops wrestling.
Feel like talking about a great mass superstar. We got to jump a little bit ahead, maybe, because we got to talk about Starlight Kid
The hell are
with
you
that
talking about
gone.
that now? Well, they did the same
Because
thing
her
there.
mask.
They unmasked her.
They unmasked her. They disrespected our baby
It's,
girl,
at
Starlight
least the
Kid.
Young Bucks, you know what? At
Yeah.
least the Young Bucks, give them credit. They had
Mm.
three masked individuals in their match, and they said, you know what? We're not going to take your fucking masks off.
Freaking Tekla was so toxic over here.
It
She
was.
took the mask off after a great fight, great bout. Probably one of my favorite matches on the card. That'd make a
You know
top
what?
five. Mm,
You oh fuck, was it the Bandito match or was it the no? Okay, hold
mm.
on that match because we're off one. We because it was Mox Bandito,
Yeah,
then it was Pac Umino,
yeah.
then it was Tekla.
Yeah, I know. I was
So
skip that a little bit.
is that what you want to do? You want to just jump
Yeah,
around and then knowing you,
We
we're
could
gonna
jump
jump
around this
around.
point, and then we can get back in order.
All right, whatever. What do you want to
Once
talk
there's a
about with me?
toxic spider in your life, yeah, you can jump around a little bit.
Yeah, toxic women, man. They can mess you up. She's got
I
you
was,
hooked.
she's got me hooked. So I was wrong in my prediction. I thought she's gonna cheat to win, but for a toxic spider, she one that's fair and clean.
Or how about that? Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, like, and then Taro Okada, who's the president of Stardom,
Mm.
gets slapped with a mask and
Yeah.
passes out. Knocked the fuck out. Front
Yeah, they have
row.
the strobe lights going crazy. I love this little feud they have with the
It's
this
just
guy is so weak. The
it's
weakest
just
man on planet Earth is the owner of
he
Stardom or whatever.
yeah, oh my gosh. It was good though. The Starlight Kid was cool. I felt like the match, I don't know. Again, there's no bad match, but to
Mm,
me, to be honest, I know it's one of the ones you liked more.
mm,
It was certainly one that I was excited about. Um, I just feel like when you look at everything else that took place on this card, especially what happens literally in the 4 matches after this,
mm.
like you kind of lose it upon reflecting on the pay-per-view. So, which is
Oh yeah.
disappointing from obviously I'm sure both of them, but I mean, we knew Tekla would win, and I still think Tekla is on her way to carrying that belt into Wembley Stadium. I hope she does. I think
Mm,
she is deserving of the women's main event portion of All In London. But yeah, it was a fun match. She did a great job of promoting this, and I don't know, like the other thing that I wonder is, does
mm.
this end the feud with Tekla and Stardom, or are we still gonna see her get her comeuppance at some point?
I feel like it would be smart to continue this feud with Stardom. You know, Stardom has to at some point get some sort of win here.
Yeah, you would think, right?
The
Did
question is,
Tekla,
who would be the one?
because it's sorry, we watched 18 hours of
Mm,
wrestling. Which there was legitimately, I think, around that many hours of wrestling over this
mm.
weekend between WWE, TNA, AEW. Um, did Tekla tap her out, or did Tekla pin her?
Yes, she tapped out,
Okay,
if I believe
and then ripped her
correctly.
mask off. Ripped her
Yeah,
mask off, spat in it, and then
yeah,
hit and knocked out Terry Okada.
pretty crazy. Toxic Spider. I don't know when she's gonna get her come up. It's probably at All In,
I think so.
but we don't know who will it be.
Who?
Who?
Kofi Kingston comes out and beats her for the title.
Imagine that would be pretty toxic. That might be the death of AEW.
That could be.
Speaking of the death of AEW, you got one of the Death Riders, Pac, trying to
There
go
you
for
go.
the Global Heavyweight Championship of IWGP.
Yeah.
Shudo Uno. Good match.
Shooter.
I probably should have went with safe pick and just said the champ was gonna win, but thought they're gonna do
We could have
hot potato. You got the hot
we could have
potato.
ended we could have ended tied, and your dumbass picked that. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe you. That was no, it was a really good match. Like
Mm,
I think this is another one. Like it falls in the category of, if you're like, I'm at a point where I know going into Forbidden Door that you're gonna watch the pay-per-view, and at the end of the day, you're watching it for the matches and the quality of the
mm,
matches at this point. But like there's not a lot of story. This took place like I think 2 weeks ago, maybe on Collision. Pack called him
yeah.
out. Shota Umino did not show up in AEW to promote this match ahead of time. They had a really good strong style. I love Umino's striking game. I thought he wailed the shit out of Pac. I thought Pac
Mm,
returned to the favor. Um, what I'm starting to wonder is, I'm pretty sure in AEW it's called the Black Arrow, but it used to be the Red Arrow when he was Adrian Neville in WWE.
yeah.
So Pat goes to the top rope. He does 450s
Mm,
and he hits those. I don't know that I don't know if he just doesn't like doing the Black Arrow anymore, because it feels like it
mm.
gets teased a lot, but almost never
I
hit.
felt like it's been
Um,
years since he's done that in AEW successfully.
yeah, his other finisher is the Brutalizer, which is that submission
Mm,
hold on the ground, and he did have Umino in that at one point during this match. I
mm,
thought maybe there'd be a chance that it would that it would end. Even though this match took place after Moxley's match, and
mm.
keep in mind Mox and Bandito Continental Classic rules, so there was no outside interference or whatever. But there was no outside people really around at all for this
Nope.
match too. So they had a clean match, clean finish. Pac gets pinned. Um, and oh my gosh, there was one clothesline that Umino hit him with that just fucking looked like it killed him toward the end there. But yeah, Umino retains, and then the Death Riders come out.
Mm.
Apparently, Shota Umino was like one of John Moxley's, I don't know, mentors. I can't
Oh,
be right because they can't be that far apart in age, I would think. I don't know. It sounded like they were the commentary
some
team
sort
was
of like
saying that.
mentor thing.
I don't know. Maybe
Either
maybe I'm
Mox
wrong.
mentored him or I don't.
But we was like kind of unsure. Like, okay, well, the Death Riders are here. Does that mean they're going to gang up on Umino? They
Mm.
didn't. But just to
I
make
thought they were
sure,
teasing Mox Shudo.
I made. Oh, that's a good point. Perhaps they are. Maybe you're
Mm.
right. Maybe they are teasing that. But then we got Hiroshi Tanahashi's music hit. And boy, does Tanahashi look like he's been taking advantage of retirement.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
eating good. I tell you that. Eating
he's
very
eating
good.
good. He did come out to a huge pop, though. I mean,
Mm.
he's a huge name in New Japan. In fact, first Forbidden Door ever was. I was fortunate enough to be there in
Mm.
attendance, and the main event of that show was Joel Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Mm.
Uh, and so that was cool for, I'm sure, the crowd in attendance, the
Yeah.
diehards, the sickos, if you will, that know these guys. They were treated to probably a bit of an unexpected appearance from the ace of New Japan against who I believe is the ace of AEW in John Moxley.
Yeah, it's very interesting what they're going to do with either that because it seems like the Death Riders tonight kind of went 50-50. They won and they lost 2 matches. If you count Will Ospreay is a member of Death
Oh
Riders,
yeah, yeah.
which that's
What do
kind of up in the
you
air, kind of.
you
Mm.
said 50-50. I at first when you said that, I thought you were gonna say 50-50 between like being faces and being heels, because I don't really understand it.
I don't understand what they're the whole company's like. Oh, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy? Because early on with Mercedes, he kind of was like, oh, going into the show as a good guy,
Yeah.
and then throughout the match, he's like flipping off the fans. So their
Yeah.
heel face dynamic is kind of weird, but something that isn't as weird is the chemistry with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. That's kind of clear. Christian's an asshole. Copeland is like a happy go lucky father. I'm a good guy. I'm be with my
Try
kids.
not
Gotta
to
let
be
the
an
dogs
asshole,
out.
Christian.
I'm gonna
Try
pick
not to
up
be
the
an
dog
asshole,
shit.
please.
The dogs went shit in the yard. I
The
gotta pick up the dog
dogs.
shit.
Pick
So
up the
Christian is
dogs. Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of dog shit, we have the dogs with their cool entrance beating up the with flash photography.
Yeah, that was cool. And then they beat the shit out of the flash photographers.
Yeah.
So you and I talked about it going in, and we said, in ring, this may be the worst match. And
Mm-hmm.
and again, we weren't saying it was going to be a bad
Yeah.
match.
Out of all
I
great
don't know.
matches.
But the thing that they do so well is like, I still think if you look back, it probably is the worst in ring because it's a basic tag team match.
Mm,
There's not a lot of crazy shit that's done, but because they told a story for weeks, for basically a
mm.
month, and they delivered on some comedic spots. There was one point where I forget if it was Cage or Cope that did it, but then Clark Connors got his face thrown into David Finley's crotch early in the match.
Oh yeah.
Um, it just like there was the comedy of that. People just get behind Cope and Cage, like
Oh
they're
yeah.
just such a legendary team. Um, but it worked well. The dogs got some really good offense. There were several spears during the match. I am a fan of when I think it was Clark Connors that got caught with it, where Cope, who is always the guy going for the spear, instead kind of catapults Connors into the air and Christian catches him with a
Oh yeah.
spear.
That was awesome.
It's a fun spot. But ultimately, what you'll probably take away from this match most is the lights go out and the guns are on the stage,
Who's it?
and it's not just the guns. Well,
The
it's just
lights.
the guns
Yeah,
on the
the lights
stage.
go out again.
We see Ace Austin,
Mm.
uh, Austin and Colton Gunn, and Juice Robinson, and then the lights go out again. And they come back on and in the ring waiting for David Finley, who had shillelagh'd the fuck out of Cope and Cage,
Yeah.
uh, where the ref was down because there was a ref bump here
Mm.
to break up a pinfall. And standing behind David Finley is Jay White.
Mm.
After over a year of being out, he hits the Sister Abigail or Blade Runner, whatever the fuck they want to call it. It's the Sister Abigail.
Yep.
And that allows David Finley to stay in the ring. and get hit with a spear by Cope. 1, 2, 3, they win. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage retain. Again, I don't think that was a big surprise, but certainly Jay White coming back was, and I think this now sets up. I think we're going to move in two different directions where we're going to put the Young Bucks a little closer to that tag team picture for the titles with Cope and Cage, and I think we will see David Finlay, Clark Connors, and I do think once visa issues are resolved, Gabe Kidd, and they will get into a feud with the Guns, hopefully ending eventually with Jay White versus David Finlay one-on-one.
Yeah. It's one of those shows where there weren't that many stories going into it, but after it, I feel like they're exiting with a lot of stories here, especially with another tag team match with a steel cage circle. The circle. A lot of stories in that one.
Yep.
Exiting it and going into it, kind of like you put the food in the oven, and over time it heats up, and this is where it gets right before it gets steaming hot. You got to take it out.
Yep.
At all
Yeah.
in.
I think so. I mean, you're in a place now where you're coming out of this pay-per-view with a couple of those angles, and you're 4 weeks out from Redemption. And I think I said this to you last night. I never want a pay-per-view to feel like a glorified Dynamite. I never want them to do that. But I do think you need to understand that, like, I don't think Redemption, and maybe I wouldn't be surprised if I am wrong, but like Redemption just can't have 7 culminating angles if your biggest pay-per-view of the year is 5 weeks after that. So, like,
Yeah.
I look at Jay White's return, there's 4 weeks. AEW loves to give you good stuff on TV, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do this, but I would see how long can you hold off, and can you get us to a point where at Redemption, we get Gabe Kidd and the Dogs versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and maybe Austin Gunn in a trios match, which could probably be look at that freeze. Look how much of an idiot I look like on that freeze. Use that for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
But like, do that, and then take your time to get us to Jay White versus David Finlay at All In London, because I do think there is an audience that has an appetite for that kind of match for the sickos who who've watched New Japan, who know the history of the Bullet Club, because those are 2 former Bullet Club leaders. So I think there's something there. But yeah, this was a fun match, and overall, just again between the story and obviously the return of Jay White, it was anything but a low point on the show, on a show that really did not have a low point.
Definitely agree. Another match with good stories, and AEW cannot lose.
Yeah, and then we get into this triple main event, which I know we're gonna have to we'll hit the pause on here in a moment.
Quick pause.
But let's
yeah, you have to call me because it's gonna be like the Zoom or whatever.
Okay. All right. Make sure you cut that part out of the video too.
No, I'm keeping this part of the video, all right?
Fucking cut that part out.
Cut the cameras.
Cut the cameras, damn it.
Cut the cameras.
So
we're back. We're back.
Triple header main event, and boy were they. Maya World, Mercedes Moné. Finals of the women's Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Is this your match of the night?
My world. Waking up and getting out of bed, definitely. I would go with the second match of the night, because the main event is this had me in a tree of woe of emotions of, oh man, I can't wait for this to be over. Oh man, I want more. I can't. Oh, it's about to be over. Oh no, and it just kept on an emotional roller coaster there. And like, if you go from, man, I can't wait for the show to be over because I'm tired, it's at, man, I'm excited. I got my heartbeat going. This adrenaline rush on this forbidden door roller coaster that's kind of broken a little bit, but hey, they allow you on the ride regardless.
And well, both Owen tournaments, and I would say the women's maybe by accident, it took you on a ride this year. So we get Maya World versus Mercedes Moné. This match, by the way, James, looked it up. Second longest women's match in AEW history. I don't think they count Blood and Guts. But the only one that beat it, and it beat it by like 20 seconds, was Toni Storm and Mercedes at All In last year.
Which is absolutely incredible, because Maya World is technically a newcomer. She looks like the youngest rookie on this card, and she had some could say the best match of the show with Mercedes. She was able to hang in there, hold in, and keep a good fight. And
Dude,
I think they did the best thing with the story option here, not having her get the gold immediately.
she's 23 years old.
She's young,
I
yeah.
mean,
That's insane.
insane. And she did a great job. I mean, Mercedes was super giving to her offense. I thought she hit some really like
Mm,
flush moves too. At one point, she hits a springboard moonsault on the outside.
yeah,
She does a nice jump off the bottom rope into an arm drag on Mercedes. A lot of very and you saw it right off the hop of the match. She's trying to do quick covers, quick roll ups on
yeah.
Mercedes. But she ended up doing those throughout the match too.
Mm,
So she had some very, I think, unique offense and a unique move set to give. And Mercedes was a great opponent for her. I
definitely.
think and the story here is the little engine that could. And we both predicted her to win in a
Yep.
shock. Um, and it's like it's tough, right? This is I'm gonna guess it's easily the most divisive finish on the show because Mercedes just, kept getting her into this it's not
The
called the bank statement.
crossface. Yeah,
Yeah,
some sort of
the
crossface,
bank
which
statement
is
whatever.
really good.
And Maya was able to roll out of it a couple of times, and
Mm,
then finally Mercedes just torques back, and it's over. And
yeah.
but like even before then, actually, so at one point when she has that submission, hold on.
Mm,
Doesn't Maya World do such a good job of like slowly
yeah,
to
slowly.
get to the rope? And it's so well done. And you see her hand up, and you'll know she's going to tap, and you'll
Yeah,
know
the
she's
both
going
of us were
to,
going, no, 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 don't tap, because it's like, oh, it looks like her foot
right?
is kind of getting closer to the ropes. Is her foot gonna touch the rope? I don't know. Is she gonna grab the rope? I don't know. Is she just gonna tap out? Is
And
Mercedes
it
gonna do
felt
the thing
like,
with the foot and put it back in? I don't know.
it was such a good job in terms of just like truly taking your time with that moment because it
Mm,
made it a moment where the crowd and you and I are at home and like, yeah, we're both like
yeah,
rooting for the girl. Like, this Maya World uh becomes a star here. As my face, you can see how excited I was right
yeah.
there. Frozen into but
Frozen time.
but I mean, she becomes a star here. Unbelievable match. And we said this going in. Like, I wanted her to win. It's
Mm,
divisive because I think you have something there. But at the same time, I also understand that, that being your biggest show of the year, whatever, like Mercedes Monet is a guarantee. And since she's
yeah.
came in AEW 2 years ago, I mean, this company's been around for 7 years. And I bet you if we sat down, we won't do it now, but if I bet we
Mm.
sat down and we're like, hey, what are your like top 5 favorite women's matches in AEW history? Mercedes might be in almost all of them. Like,
This might be one of my favorite women's wrestling matches. Period. In any
like,
promotion. Yeah,
okay, yeah, I was going to say regardless of company.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Because you
thing.
have
Like,
a great story going into it. You have a hype video package. You have Maya, because Mercedes been doing this for more than 7 years. She's doing it since she was in WWE. So you have a photo of them together when Maya was even younger. So you're like,
yeah,
oh man, she's kind of like idolized this person, looked up to this person, and kind of see that throughout the match. Why Maya World doing some moves that Mercedes does, and kind of adding her own twist to it.
and imagine her like Maya World for the most part has wrestled on Collision and Ring of Honor, so she's wrestling on these shows that are
Mm,
often I hate to say it, but presented as afterthoughts. By the time you walk out there to a half empty building, it's now a quarter full of a building. People are
mm,
leaving during your matches. It's like, it's just honestly, you're facing, yes, you've made it past the indies, but I mean, to then have your pay per view debut a
mm,
month, a month ago, I didn't even know who Maya World even really was.
yeah,
And now a month later, he wrestles in front of almost 10,000 people in San Jose on a pay-per-view against the person she idolized. That is such a
insane.
cool story. And Mercedes wins. Mercedes is
Mm,
back-to-back Owen Hart Cup winner for the women's side. The CEO,
yeah.
all in. And so I don't know. We're going to find out if we get Mercedes and Tekla or if they do something different. But I do think something else that they tried to do, and maybe this
Mm,
was a way of like, um, kind of softening the blow for the
Mm,
Maya World fans is very shortly after that match ended and Mercedes did her celebration, we cut to a promo that's done like in almost in like one of the tunnels that like fans would
mm,
come in and out of. And it's Renee interviewing Athena, who Maya World beat to get to the finals. And Athena basically uh talks about, oh, it's this cute story for you, whatever, but you're not on my level. You're another one of my mentees that just can't get the job done. You're such a disappointment, whatever. And Athena does point to her world championship.
mm.
She calls herself the forever ROH Women's World Champion. Her reign is around or exceeded or near Roman Reigns. She's gone over 3 years with the
She
title.
beat it. Yeah.
And I think what they are trying to tell you, as you pointed out last night when we were watching, is okay, my world may not be ready for the women's world title in AEW,
Mm.
but there is still a way to give her this epic crowning moment because she could be the one to end the longest title reign in Ring of Honor history. And we'll see when or if that happens.
I hope if they do it at a pay per view called Redemption, and she gets her redemption at winning the big moment at Redemption in
It
Canada.
could. I'd be cool with that. Yeah. Oh, well, and so another thing you and I talked about is
Mm,
like years ago, I did not like AEW incorporating Ring of Honor championships onto their
mm,
program. I thought it was way too over the top. Now, I think there are situations where it can make sense. This is a situation that makes sense. You don't need to crown her on Honor Club or on a Ring of Honor centric pay per view
mm,
where 1,000 people are going to be there, 1,500 people are going to be there. This is an opportunity to really make it happen. And yeah, I don't know the redemption. Is it too soon? I don't know. But I mean, if you
mm,
told me that match was on Redemption, that would be one that I'm excited for because this one, this is probably my third favorite match of the night. I mean, this
mm,
was one of the best. You said it, one of the best women's matches that you've seen.
mm.
And kudos to my world for that, and obviously Mercedes for just being
Yeah.
great in the ring as she wins the Owen.
I feel like with Owen, do you want to talk about the other? Nah, I feel like gotta have the last Owen end.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. Let's go to the cage.
The cage, the circle cage. Let's talk about the circle cage for a second. It's interesting when they show it in the 0 hour, like a circle. What?
Yeah, that was
Really?
different. Yeah, what'd you think of it? I liked it.
I liked it. It's just kind of, now I wish, I can't wait for the video game modders to have that in WWE 2K26 because the modding scene is amazing with that game on PC.
It looked like a mix of a Hell in a Cell and an old school Elimination Chamber.
Mm. They kind of like shoot it like a old school elimination chamber with all the cameras on the cell and
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They did use some unique camera angles, and I mean, boy, was it a unique match. This is one that, and I don't know why, like, because I love the match. I love the match. It's
mm,
not in my top three. It's probably right outside of it. Um, but like, I saw a lot of people saying this was the best cage match AEW's ever had. Uh, and like,
it was good, but the outcome was really predictable in a good way because you have this big story beat. You might as well have it tonight rather than on a dynamite of Andrea turning on the Don Callis family and MJF with
yeah,
that custom T-shirt.
so let's remind everybody it's yeah, Team Mark Briscoe, which is as I'm frozen on the screen,
Okay,
is
I'll go
going to
with the.
I'm
I think
dealing
I
with the
got it.
shit out of it right now. Yeah, hit it,
We
hit
got
it.
Darby Allin, Takeshita, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong versus the team of MJF, which features Okada, Kyle Fletcher, El Idolo, Andrea, and Kevin Knight and Jake Doyle because of travel issues with Mark
I think
Davis, right?
Mark Davis would have
Yeah.
yeah, I think Mark Davis would have been in this, but yeah.
Felt like he did a great job at. They're kind of like the same body type, which is a lucky miracle for them. Like they should be
Yeah.
a tag team together at some point. That'd be kind of cool. Wink, wink,
They could
because
do
they
that.
are. I think they
They
were
could
a
do
tag
that.
team at one point. They were trying to go for the tag team gold, and then Jake Doyle got injured,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I know he
then
tore his bicep.
Mark Davis was
Yeah, you're
able
right.
to step up.
Yeah.
Too
They
bad he
did
wasn't able to step up in this match, but he got pinned. Spoiler alert.
Okay, so like jumping into like elements of the
Mm,
match that were hilarious. Of course, AEW at some point was going to do a thumbtack spot, and this one's not exactly hilarious. This
mm,
was just like, um, Mark Briscoe took a back bump onto the tacks. That looked like
mm,
it sucked. And then MJF was getting teased like he was going to fall onto the tacks when he and Darby were going against each other.
mm,
And then all of a sudden, Darby runs to MJF after striking him. MJF's wobbling, strikes him again. He's wobbling. He's about to fall into it.
mm.
Darby charges him. MJF back body drop. And Darby does like another flip in the air and
Yeah.
lands stomach and like side of his face first on
Yeah.
the
He goes,
tacks.
ugh.
Got some tacks in his palms from like trying to catch his fall. That was just brutal. That's a cool aspect. I mean, there's a ton of spots here. So that's a spot.
I like the Don Callis fam MJF table. They had a
Yeah,
custom table.
the DC MJF tables with the easel paintings. It was like it remind me of the Slim Jim tables in WWE.
Yeah, it's funny
Uh,
because they all came out there with that T-shirt on.
yeah, true. One by one, they got rid of them. What's another great spot? Kyle Fletcher gets hit with a blue thunder bomb through a table on the outside
Mm.
by Konosuke Takeshita.
At some
They're
point, you had
opening
four
these.
tables stacked up at some point, and Kevin Knight thought it was a great idea to climb the cage. And who likes Kevin Knight right now? Darby Allin. So Darby Allin goes after Kevin Knight because he screwed him for his championship and throws him through that table. And he kind of
No,
does
he
a
didn't get
coffin
thrown.
drop. He didn't get thrown
No, it
through the
was
table.
a that was a booby trap.
Oh, it was a
He fit,
bomb. I forgot it was a
there's
bomb.
a fucking bomb went off in the arena and nobody
Apparently, there's
evacuated.
some political figures in my head. I can't say the word bomb. I gotta
There's
scrub it out.
yeah, that's probably not going to make it through YouTube.
Yeah, I can't
Uh,
say the word bomb. Or
he like I think it was a backpack or something. I don't know. Kevin
I
Knight
think
climbed to the top. He went to grab it and then just
hmm,
boom, a fucking pyro goes
I
off on
think
him and
that
he
was the
falls.
Forbidden Door here. I think that was Danhausen. He
He may have
cursed him.
tried. He
You
may
have
have
been
tried.
cursed.
Well, and now AEW's version of Danhausen. So early in the match, very, very early in the match, we
Hmm.
see what appears to be a hockey bag, and they are in the home of the San Jose Sharks NHL
Yeah.
arena. So Roderick Strong uses the hockey bag to hit a few people. The bag then comes out later when who was it? Was it
MJF
MJF
was
or
like, get
Okada?
what's in the bag. Yeah, MJF was
Is
like saying, get what's in the bag, and someone goes to open up this bag. What weapons in this bag?
Well, that would be Leo Rush or Blackheart Leo Rush. Huge pop,
Yeah,
huge pop by the crowd.
another
Uh,
ROH star here.
and it's just so many stupid fucking things. And he gets some offense in eventually, like on some people, him and Andrade with the how do you know? How you know? He
He
knows, and you know.
knows.
That was fun. And then he goes after MJF for a little bit. And MJF's like this
Mm.
fucking weirdo. And then Okada was like, all right, fuck you, Rainmaker. And that was
Well,
it.
he went after MJF because MJF got the a gold ring. The
That's
what's the
right.
what's the name of the ring?
The Dynamite Diamond Ring.
There we go.
And you're right. And Leo Rush wanted the ring.
The announcers were like, my precious, kind of. So it's like a certain movie where that's in, kind of a ring, Lord of Ring or something.
Yeah. Is
I
MJF
don't
the
know.
Lord of the Rings? Is he?
Good point. He's won a lot of those diamond rings.
So that was really fun. Earlier in the oh man, how about this spot? This was clever. So early in the match, they go into a backpack, and well,
Mm.
they found packs in one of the bags. They found what was
A
that? A
gaming
Sega
console,
or an old Nintendo that
NES. They said Nintendo
NES.
Super Entertainment or some.
Kyle O'Reilly absolutely clocked Kyle Fletcher with this console. He's like
Yeah, I hope it
blowing on
was
the
a
game cartridge as well,
yeah
like very nostalgic.
broken
Um,
controller here with the wire. They use that as a weapon.
that was used. Kyle Fletcher ends up blading from this console.
Mm.
And then there's like this sweet moment during the match, you would say, where Willow is not there, but there's a backpack of a bunch of oranges.
Oh yeah,
And
very sweet, like an
it's
orange.
like it's like a note from Willow, which was great. And it's like, okay, the guy started eating the oranges. Oh, that's
Even the
nice.
referee.
Even the
Yeah.
referee, yeah, Bryce Remsburg eats an orange, and then we get to a dark place because Kyle Fletcher is bleeding, and they decide let's hold Kyle Fletcher down and over top his head squeeze out an orange and the
Mm,
acidicness of an orange juice onto
yeah.
his open cut, which is just god awful, man. That was actually
Yeah.
like that was a spot that made me like squeam.
I'm surprised they didn't get the blood oranges. Is there a certain color orange that's already kind of pinkish or more of a reddish than
Yeah,
that?
there
I
could
think
have
that would have
been.
been more interesting, but it probably would have tasted better for the referee too. You know, he'd been happier. Everyone would have
Maybe
been
so.
happier. Adds more
Maybe
flavor.
so.
Look up some fruits and vegetables, guys. Eat it. Yeah.
The more the more I'm talking about, there's just like 27 fucking spots in this. And then obviously the big culminating one is MJF wants so Jake Doyle is holding it's either Briscoe or maybe it was Briscoe. Um
Yeah.
he's holding him for MJF to hit him.
With
Andrade comes in
the
the ring.
diamond ring.
MJF,
Yeah.
yes, with the diamond ring. And then MJF says, I don't want you holding him, Jake. I want Andrade. And Andrade starts flipping out and they shove each other, shove each other. And then Andrade hits him with the elbow. And the
Mm.
crowd erupts.
Yeah, it was kind of like out
And
of nowhere. It was like so fast. It was like, oh shit.
it was out of, yeah, I agree. It was fucking lightning quick. And then he takes out Jake Doyle. I
Takes
apologize,
off his
Jake.
shirt. He takes off his shirt, and underneath it is like his Team MJF shirt. He takes that off, and underneath that it says "fuck MJF, fuck Don Callis,"
You
uncensored.
think,
It
do you
literally
think
says
he's,
"fuck." I'm not insane.
yeah, is that going to be on Shop AEW?
I don't know. I think they're probably gonna get fined $20 million for the use of "fuck."
God. Yeah, that was so that was pretty awesome. And then yeah, it sets up Briscoe to recover. Andrade says basically take it. Briscoe hits the
Mm,
J Driller on Jake Doyle, and Team Mark Briscoe wins. And they waste no time with this in this
mm,
insane, awesome cage match. As they're cleaning on the outside, they decide to go backstage to a bloodied Mark Briscoe with Renee, who says, I'm using my title shot this Wednesday. And we do get the graphic to confirm it this Wednesday on
yeah.
Dynamite, in addition
During
to a new.
the Osprey match, they confirm it. I believe, or
Oh,
is
they
like
confirmed
after.
it. Yeah, they confirmed it with the graphic there. Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Because
but
at first I was
but
like
yeah,
hesitant. I was like, oh, okay, MJF is they're gonna do a promo bit and they're gonna announce some more stuff for the show that I'm going to, hopefully, Beach Break.
Beach Break.
But
Yeah.
no, they're doing it this week. We have a TBS Women's ROH Big Six Woman match there. And then you have the World Championship, two
Yeah.
big title matches.
Unbelievable. Like right off the pay-per-view. How the fuck? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just crazy. But and as crazy as as that is, what about this main event?
Oh, hard hitting action. You can't get disappointed. You got Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. You kind of know who's going to win because all in, but they did a really good job at putting that little doubt in your head that what if Osprey loses? How does Osprey go to all in if he loses? Because there's
So
always
this
multiple ways to tell a story here. He doesn't have to win the Owen to get to all in.
this tournament was the I think most predictable Owen that we've seen yet.
Mm,
But it was so good of a match. And the only thing that probably would turn some fans off to this match is the amount of blood.
yeah,
So
I was not a fan.
early on in the match, while they're on the outside fighting, Swerve unravels the padding on the bottom turnbuckle. So it doesn't, but the padding behind the turnbuckle. So it's not the
Mm,
turnbuckle itself that's off. It's the steel cable that you actually use to like tighten a turnbuckle to a ring post. So that steel in between the ring post and the turnbuckle is what is
mm,
exposed. Swerve ends up launching Osprey face first into that, causes Osprey to blade. Few minutes later, uh, Osprey looks like he's going to hit a Styles clash on the outside.
yeah.
Ends up instead holding Swerve and deciding to basically swing him face first into the side of the steps, which honestly, if you look at the angle, it looked like Swerve could have like
Yeah,
got
it looked
caught on
like
the
it
corner
could
of
have
the
like
steps.
boom.
And Swerve gushes for the rest of this match. And I mean, there are literal puddles of blood in various aspects around the ring.
This is just a normal rules match.
Yeah.
Ain't normal rules.
Ospreay ends up hitting a Styles Clash on Swerve on the announce table from the steps onto the announce table. There were a couple of hidden blades in this match that were hit. This match literally bell to bell goes close to 40 minutes. It's the longest match of the night. It's the best match of the night.
Yeah.
And every time, like you talked about it earlier, like the emotional ebb and flow. Every time you thought, okay, we're getting to the finish, somebody kicked out, and I'm like losing
Kicked
it.
out at
I'm like,
one. Not even a 2
yeah.
count sometime.
And that was what was crazy. Is like, dude, these guys, like, we obviously we all know wrestling's choreographed, but like the athleticism and the conditioning, like these guys at one point are like 25 minutes into the match. You got to think, dude, they're fucking exhausted, and like all of a sudden, Osprey hits like a um a front facing blade, right?
Just
Uh,
runs at him.
and Swerve kicks out at one. And then Swerve pops up and hits the fucking house call. And then Osprey kicks out at one. And now they're jabbing and jabbing and jabbing and a kick and a punch and a chop and a chop. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, you know, and then I thought we were at the end because there's a point in the match where they are both in a corner. They back up from one another. They each get into a corner. They face each other. And what I'm thinking is this is a Western saloon standoff. Somebody is going to come out of the corner, hit a finisher. And actually, it's very similar to what happened with Osprey and Bryan Danielson a couple years ago in their AEW Classic. And one of them runs, hits the finisher, wins the match. And so Osprey fucking runs at this guy, hits him with the blade, clocks him.
Yeah.
Picks him up for that. I don't even remember the name of the finisher, but he like does it like he's got him up on his shoulders and like spins out with him and like drops him. I'm like, that's it. 1, 2, Swerve kicks out. And it's not even like, and then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, one, will my internet fix? Because just like right now, God, dude, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to. I will reset my router after this. But so then he hits that move, and I've seen AEW do this shit like 10 times now, where a guy kicks out, and you're like, no way, only to get hit with the finisher and then be done right away. And so Osprey did that after they had that standoff in the corner, right? Swerve kicks out at 2, and they go for like another 5 minutes. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And then finally, it ends with Swerve going to again hit the house call. This like running, like stomp to the side of the neck. At this point, Moxley and the Death Riders decide to come out to the ring. They're here for right around the final 5 minutes of the match. Osprey gets hit with this house call and no sells it. And he hulks up and rocks Swerve, hit him blade, and then a move that he had not done in a long time, but he needed to do it. And that is the Tiger Driver.
Ooh.
And finally, Swerve kicks out of these hidden blades, these Styles clashes, all these crazy moves. But the Tiger Driver is hit 1, 2, 3. Osprey pins Swerve. And yes, it is predictable, but the way in which they got there, I don't know. In a near 40-minute classic, I saw some people online saying it's one of the best main events in AEW pay-per-view history, and I don't know. It'd be hard to argue that, man. Great match, and now Ospreay gets to main event Wembley Stadium.
It's great because when Redemption comes, they're gonna have probably another great main event there because AEW keeps on the ball keeps on going. Great main event. That's a great main event.
Yeah. What do you think And I think what's also
Mm,
interesting, and I said this to you, is like Swerve could go face. I
yeah.
doubt he does. They did have an embrace at the end, and
Mm.
Swerve
They
didn't
had like a little
really.
moment there. They had a moment. They
They
just
did,
stared at each other.
yeah. And Osprey was doing all the talking, and Swerve was kind of like glazed over in his eyes, like
Mm,
and yeah, there was no handshake, there was no hug, there was no like committing of a heel
mm,
to face for Swerve Strickland. He can do both very well. I think he is one of the better tweeners in
yeah.
AEW. Um, but it is interesting to wonder where he will go from here. Because we already knew like a couple of years ago, Swerve had been established. I think like 3 years, it
Yeah.
really since he came into AEW, but especially in 2023, once he started that feud with Hangman, Swerve became a big name in all elite wrestling. And this was just another example of just how incredible he is. Osprey deserved the win. This was his time.
Yeah.
And by the way, him, Swerve, Hangman, they were like this trio that banded together last year. Well, 2024 All In, Swerve was in the main event. Last year, Hangman, this year, Osprey.
Yeah. I just thought about it. What if Swerve goes after one of his Osprey's new friends now from the Death Riders? Because the Death Riders came out there. What if he goes after Mox? What's that championship gold?
So, I mean, that's a Swerve Strickland wins the Continental Championship. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I think you got. I don't know. Like Mox has to lose it at some point, but who will he lose it to? If you lose it to a name like Swerve, I don't think it's going to make Mox look bad. Protects him really well
Yeah.
for whatever it
Yeah. I
is.
mean, well, it's no, I mean, it's a really good point. Like, is that the path for Swerve Strickland? And if so, it's a hell of a prominent path with him and John Moxley in a one-on-one. I'd be excited. I've seen it before, but
Mm,
I'd be excited to see it again for sure. Um, and it does keep Swerve in a very prominent role. I think he would be. I mean, you're sitting here, Moxley's now having this what? I mean, 7-month reign or whatever with the title,
mm,
6-month reign. Like, I think when you build that kind of equity up into a champion, you do need the payoff to be a meaningful one and not at least to me, you don't want that to end in like a surprise to a guy that maybe isn't the right fit for that title.
yeah, you don't want it to end
Swerve
on a
Strickland.
collision or a random dynamite that's not like built up to it. Could do it on a dynamite, but like this, you could build up to like a pay per view like Redemption or even All In when Mox loses if he ever does.
Yeah, I mean, it is certainly an interesting thought. Like, where do you want to go with Swerve and the Death Riders
Yeah.
and Osprey? Because there's a lot of look. One thing I really like about these AEW pay-per-views is you often do come out of them with several questions.
Mm,
Sometimes you don't get the answers to them on the Dynamite. But I do think the last two, uh, and it's not always consistent, but
mm,
coming out of Dynasty and coming out of Double or Nothing, the first Dynamite after I thought was very good. It would help you. It gave you direction. It told you where things were going
mm,
to go with a few different programs. And so now you need to do that here because every week counts. They had a 5-week gap between Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door. You only have 4 weeks between Forbidden Door and Redemption. So,
yeah.
um, you're going to crown a new TBS champion. You're going to have a world title match. You've got two really big matches on Dynamite this week, but I want to see some stories. I want to see where some of these things are going to go.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job with the story. It's kind of the long going story with the Death Riders that people didn't like at first, and people started to like it when Mox lost the title and started getting good, and now it's still kind of good, but it's kind of like okay, you added a new equation to this math problem with Will Osprey because before Osprey was like, oh, I'm not part of the Death Rider. Oh, now I'm not. Now it's like tonight it definitely confirmed he's Death Riders. Everyone came out there could congratulate him, to hug him,
Yep.
but he didn't leave with the Death Riders. He left with his lovely wife, and a good emotional
That was
moment
cool.
there.
Yeah, Alex Windsor was there with Osprey after he wins the Owen Cup. Before then, there was a moment. So when he wins it, they give you
Mm-hmm.
that Owen Hart Championship, and then they give you the cup. Um, there was a moment he was on the shoulders of I think it was Moxley and Claudio.
Oh yeah.
Did you think for a second like they wouldn't turn here, would they?
Oh, I didn't think that, but I thought like Claudio was like, I don't know, I might be looking too much into it. If it does, it would be Claudio. It's like, why do we have bring this guy in here? He won the championship. That should be one of us. Got this outsider.
See,
Oh,
that's like a yeah. I mean, it does make you wonder, like, because I still do firmly believe we have to get to Osprey Moxley again.
mm,
And I don't know, like, is there and is it possible? Because here's the thing, they don't really
mm,
hide from this. Like they kind of referenced it in their program building up. Like Swerve and Osprey have been like very good friends for a long time.
mm,
It's just, when it comes to competing, Osprey could never beat him until now. So, is it possible, like, would Swerve get involved with the Death Riders, get taken out by the Death Riders?
mm.
And could something happen where uh that maybe sparks Osprey to be like, hey, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah,
That's one of my friends. And maybe Moxley goes, there's no time for friends. You don't have
yeah.
friends in this,
Or even
I don't
Moxley
know.
is there to defend him. It's like, oh yeah, why are you guys attacking Swerve? Like I wasn't have some like tension build up to it. Because it can be something where like in theory, if the Death Riders do break up, is like someone from the inside is like Osprey killing the Death Riders from the inside. This could be a super long term for him story.
So that's a great, like, this is another one because he can't be, and I've thought about that a little bit. He cannot be a heel going into Wembley, but is
Mm,
it at all possible? Because we said this last year, and I know we got to wrap up here soon, but we said this last year that when Moxley lost to Hangman, it kind of felt like it was the beginning of the destruction of the Death Riders, and eventually that the Death Riders were going to turn on John Moxley. And I swear to God it was going to happen. And I swear it was going to happen at World's
yep.
End. And then it didn't. And then the Death Riders kind of became baby faces because Mox cut this awesome promo after he beat Okada at the C2. But like, what if, and okay, so we talked maybe Swerve and Mox could be a really good one for the
Mm,
Continental title. Maybe you could have a Pac or a Claudio defect from the Death Riders and beat Moxley to
mm,
be that. Or maybe there is a situation where Osprey says, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And I
mm,
befriended you and I broke it out from the inside. And then, Osprey becomes a heel back in the States because he
mm.
can be a heel. He's
Yeah.
he's played the role of a heel before in New Japan.
Okay. That'd be
So
interesting for me.
yeah, and then you get him to be this fucking asshole, and the Death Riders follow him. I don't think you need that with him. That's the one thing I will say is you don't
Mm.
need it. But if you were to kind of surprise some people and like have a real shock story for like the fall of this year, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They have so many different options and possibilities. This, I don't know. I thought about it. I don't think they will. What if Swerve Strickland joins the Death Riders and he becomes the new leader? Because I'm like, I don't think Claudio is good enough to be a leader of the Death Riders. But I think Swerve would be a crazy, like, what the? Wait, Swerve? Would be
Could
too left
Swerve
field. Swerve us?
could Swerve do it because of his, he's been talking like his big story lately has been this conquest for power.
Yeah, he wants that. No,
So
no other better
maybe
group than the Death Riders with power.
before we get out
Hmm.
of here, I guess each of us, right? Thoughts on the
Yeah.
pay-per-view to wrap it up.
I'd say this is probably the best pay per view so far this year that I. This is the best pay per view that I watched from home, or like watched on TV or pay per view, instead of like going to. I feel like going to the show and watching it are two different mindsets and two different vibes. So I would say this is the best pay per view that I've seen on TV on the television. How about
Yeah, I think
you?
I would agree.
Mm,
Yeah, you and I were at Double or Nothing, so it's kind of like it's hard for me to top that. I loved Double or Nothing. And I think people would still say that Double or Nothing was better, even for the people that
mm,
watch at home. But yeah, this is the second one. Tony Khan sought out to have Forbidden Door be the best Forbidden Door yet. And it's always hard when you think about this because there's been what 4 or 5 editions of it by now. But
mm.
I mean, it certainly feels like a memorable one, and really excited to see where they take this on Dynamite as we are now on the road to redemption.
Yeah, they're doing a good job continuing good pay-per-view. Hopefully they continue it with a good Dynamite here. They have it set up. This should be a better Dynamite like after pay-per-view than the last Dynamite after that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Philly. We surprisingly we went to that one too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. 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 We missed so much of it, but yeah.
We only missed the dog segment and the Claudio match and
Yeah.
2 bits.
Yeah. It felt like a long one. Oh, whatever. But no, it was good. It was a fun time, and yeah, hopefully we'll have some fun watching this Wednesday.
Stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more Not Elite Podcast. Where's my